There have been times in my life, in my early 30s, everybody was doing the bread diet. So you ate bread one day, normal food the next day. And I lost weight on that, but it's not sustainable. You can't live eating bread one day, normal food the next day, and over a period of time. So that didn't last longer. And then into my 50s, I tried Jenny Craig. And again, that was successful, but you had to buy the Jenny Craig meals. And who wants to be in your kitchen all the time with these cardboard boxes and tins? So that wasn't sustainable. But the beauty of Metabolic Balance is that you can go down to your supermarket and just buy what you need. You don't have to have a whole armoury of packaged food. You don't have to have breads loaded up in your freezer. You can just buy your normal food that is geared for you and off you go. It makes it so simple and it's so easy, this one, to stick. And I was 73.5 kg. Like I said, I've probably lost 12 kg now. I feel amazing.
Hello and welcome to the Metabolic Balance Stories podcast. This is where we share real stories and insights into personalised nutrition, helping you understand more about what it is and how it can help you. I'm Cherry Wills, I'm your host, and I'm delighted to welcome today a wonderful client from Christchurch, New Zealand, Gillian Gee. So Gillian worked with her practitioner, Araleena Isse, and you worked online, I believe, Gillian, but I want to say, first of all, a big hello to you. Thank you for joining me.
Pleasure.
Wonderful. So can you share to the very beginning, how you came across? I mean, what started your journey working with Araleena and Metabolic Balance?
All right. I was... end of last year in November, I had a few Zoom sessions with Araleena as a naturopath, and I was very much aware that I was maximum weight that I'd ever been. I was a blood test from my own doctor several months earlier had said lifestyle change required and lots of red print with lots of red asterisks. And as Araleena and I were talking, she said, I think that you would benefit from doing Metabolic Balance program. I had never heard of it at all. And I said, okay. So Christmas came and February it kicked off, and I was 3 weeks in when I decided I'd better Google Metabolic Balance, and to my surprise, I found it wasn't Araleena's personalised program. It was a world program that started in 2002 by a German doctor, and that was the biggest surprise to me. Well, by then I'd already lost 2 or 3 kg, and I was hooked, and there was no turning back. So my journey was not a long, deliberate one. It was Araleena suggested it. I knew that something had to happen or something was going to give, and I just did it.
Yeah, could you share some numbers so that people understand where you're coming from? So how old are you, Gillian?
I am 73.5.
Yes, you were at. So where were you at?
Funnily enough, I was 73.5 kg.
Ah, okay.
So at the time in November, and I'm now at 61. And it's been so easy.
Yeah, how wonderful.
I've got perfect BMI and perfect waist circumference, which I didn't have before.
Yeah. And so you carry on talking. Sorry, I feel like I'm interrupting you.
I've had 4 children, and over 50 years, I've just put on a little bit more weight, and there have been times in my life, in my early 30s, everybody was doing the bread diet, right? That was also by a Dutch doctor. You ate bread one day, normal food the next day. And I lost weight on that, but it's not sustainable. You can't live eating bread one day, normal food the next day, and over a period of time.
That's crazy, that one.
Well, it hit the world, and it was very well known, but you look too young to know about it. So that didn't last longer. The effects didn't last because you can't keep living like that. And then I guess into my 50s, I tried Jenny Craig. And again, that was successful, but you had to buy the Jenny Craig meals. And who wants to be in your kitchen all the time with these cardboard boxes and tins? So that wasn't sustainable. But the beauty of metabolic balance is that you can go down to your supermarket and just buy what you need. You don't have to have a whole armory of packaged food. You don't have to have breads loaded up in your freezer. You can just buy your normal food that is geared for you, and off you go. It makes it so simple, and it's so easy, this one, to stick. And I was 73.5 kg. Like I said, I've probably lost 12 kg now. I feel amazing. I can walk up the stairs. I don't get breathless. I don't feel sluggish. I don't waddle. I was waddling. You get a certain weight and you start to waddle a bit. Your thighs slap together and you know that you're not moving as freely as you did once upon a time. Now I don't feel like that. And my psyche's changed. That's also the interesting thing.
Tell us more, what do you mean by that?
I was 73. I was aware I was getting breathless. I was aware I was getting overweight. And I'd been told that even by blood tests, as I said. And I just thought to myself, well, this is it. This is me. I'm just going to have to put up with this. I've probably got another 10, 15 years to go. And I'm just going to be a medium-sized dumpling.
And slowly getting worse and worse as well.
Slowly getting worse and worse, everything getting worse. Clothes having to be let out, and at some point there's only so many seams you can let out. But I thought, this is it. This is me. This is what I've got to deal with and live with. I've shed the weight. I feel fantastic. And it's completely changed how I feel about myself. I don't feel this is it for the next decade and a half. I don't feel like I'm stuck. I just feel that it's been fabulous. For something I fell into and I didn't even know what I was doing. I just did it, like that Nike ad, just do it. It's been life-changing. And I've also got my sister-in-law in the UK doing it. I've got my son-in-law doing it with a coach in Invercargill, New Zealand. And I've got my eldest daughter doing it. She had, baggy thighs. She wanted to lose them. So I've converted 3 people and I'm working on a couple of others.
Well, there you go. That's amazing. Because I think it's kind of interesting. I've had so many points that you've said that I just love to pick up again and say it's a really sad reality that a lot of people, when they are getting into their retirement years, that you almost get hypnotized into this idea that things have to go downhill and that you're just going to feel a bit old and more decrepit and you can't do things, and
you're going to get, a pop. I've always had a relatively flat stomach, whereas, over the last 5 years, I had developed a bit of a pot, and there was no way I could shake it or move it. It was there, and I don't have it now. I am flat.
You basically reset yourself nicely back to where you were through most of your life, really, because generally you were pretty good. But like I said, pregnancy and babies, you've created 4 wonderful children, and that just does take a toll on a woman's body.
I mean, your feet get bigger and the rest of you gets bigger. Let's face it, when every pregnancy. So I think that, society now, we talk a lot about women in their 50s, women in their 60s, and the amazing things you can do, get out there and run and do this and that. And it's fantastic. But there's not a lot said about 70s into 80s. You know, you are then, there's all this advertising coming to retirement villages, and the mindset is just like you said, you're on the last legs. So put up with put up with all these aches and pains. It's old age. Well, no, you don't have to. And being the ideal weight and shape, and shape's got a bit to do with how you feel about yourself. Being the ideal weight, being the ideal shape, knowing that you're in a good space health-wise, you're eating better. I've never eaten so much protein in my life as I do now, but I really enjoy it. I eat chicken. I've been a vegetarian or pescatarian for 20 years. I eat chicken now. I eat chicken.
Let me talk about that. So what led, because you can get a vegetarian plan on Metabolic Balance, but you kept it open.
I kept a pescatarian, vegetarian plan that I could eat fish. But after 3 months, I really sat down and I thought, well, actually, what I'm short of protein. What has eating like this for 20 years done for me? I'm on the borderline for obesity. I've been told by the medics I need to have a lifestyle change. What is my why should I not incorporate chicken, which I could have done? And so I have, and now I have the choice of my fish, my chicken, my eggs, my cheese. It's spread it for me, and I have no regrets of having done a complete change. I think that it's easy to get stuck. It's easy to say I'm a pescatarian, and there's a bit of sense, to be honest, there's a sense of pride in saying that these days, but actually it may not be doing, for me, I wasn't getting enough protein. And I guess I was a wee bit lazy to be doing all the other options properly.
I mean, the way I always refer to this is the difference between personalized nutrition and preference nutrition. And preference nutrition is what we choose based on whatever reasons behind what we're choosing to do. And, a preference nutrition is to be a pescatarian for 20 years. It was actually, that's what you chose as your lifestyle or whatever to do. And there is a difference between what the human body and what the individual genetics of you actually really would ideally be nourished by, compared to what our mind or your mind said at the time what you would wanted to choose to eat. And that's where I always say that metabolic balance and the personalized analysis comes in to say it just takes a very objective view of, well, these are the foods that are clearly needed based on your functional analysis. And now you have a choice to look at those foods, and you should still choose what you prefer to eat from your foods, but you've got that more educated palate.
Exactly, and it's so easy. I knew dairy didn't sit well with me, but I hadn't drilled down further. And now I know that I don't have any cow's milk in my diet. I have goat's milk. I eat goat's cheese or chèvre, and I have sheep yogurt, and I'm perfectly happy on those. Perfectly happy. You could knock me over with a feather, because I would never, back in October last year, have thought that come the middle of this year I would be eating any of those. Never.
Yeah, but you're enjoying them, and you're reaping the benefits of them.
And I really look forward to them. I don't even think twice about them. So it makes it easy, you know. And this is what my son-in-law says as well. It is so simple eating through the Metabolic Balance program, because the rest of the time you worry. You know you're putting on weight because you just are. And it's a worry every time you put something in your mouth. It's, oh, what's this going to do for me? All of that's gone.
It's refreshing, isn't it?
Yes, yes. It's life-changing. Really, it is absolutely life-changing. Mm.
And you talk about, obviously you have released the weight that you know your body needed to do. You know, from my point of view, that's amazing and I love that. But the clarity of thought that can come back as well when we're not inflamed. So do you feel do you feel that you are able to really be sort of much more switched on just in day-to-day life?
Yes, well, everything's quicker. I'm just not sluggishly waddling around. I mean, people wouldn't have said I was fat, although I must say a daughter said to me, Mum, you were getting fat. But that's what daughters say. I wouldn't have said I was fat, but I was definitely middling to getting on in that direction. And now I'm trim and I'm fast and I'm quick. Everything has changed.
How have you found it sort of socially? Because one of the feedbacks I do get often, if we just, because like let's bring it back as well to you were saying about how there really isn't much advice for people in their 70s and 80s. Often it is a little bit like you're supposed to just, yeah, you've this is your lot, there's not much you can do now, it's all just downhill from here. But actually it doesn't have to be. But also what I do appreciate that it can also be, there's a lot of social activities that can happen around, you know, in your 70s and 80s, and navigating those when you are on a, you know what you want to eat and you know what is good for you, that can be a bit of a sticking point for some people. What would you say to that?
I think that you come to learn what foods work for you, that in most instances there is enough variety to pick and choose off a menu. If I go out for dinner and there's sauces, I'll say, no sauces, please. Or, I mean, this is 2025. You can be a little assertive. So I don't see that as an issue. I just think it's not a rigid, narrow choice list. And you can work around it. And really, if you're out for lunch or out for dinner, that can be that particular meal. It doesn't mean that the meal before or the meal afterwards has to be affected. It's a juggle, but it's not an onerous juggle.
And it's a juggle you want to do because you want to stay feeling good.
Well, you do, exactly. I mean, I can't afford to put on the weight because I've had all my clothes now taken in.
There you go.
Seriously. I will eat out and now they're back in.
Did you also revisit old favorites that you can actually now fit in again?
Yes. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is the fun of it, isn't it?
A little black dress I bought in 2002 in Italy. No, 2001 in Italy, on a trip to Italy, I can now wear again, 2025.
Oh, isn't that fun? Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and as soon as you say the words Italy, I'm already imagining just very stylish, gorgeous fashion, Audrey Hepburn type kind of, on Roman holiday.
And I haven't been able to wear it, and now I can. And yeah. So it's a great program. I'm very, very pleased.
What did your doctor say?
Well, interestingly, I saw them socially. My doctor and his wife, I saw socially in January, just before I was beginning the program, and they were interested. My doctor's a German, and they were interested in what I was doing. And then I saw my doctor's wife a couple of weeks ago, and she was stunned. She wanted all the details and wants to do it herself.
Amazing. There you go. And that's coming back to this, or like, I was wanting to just pick up on the comment earlier that it is good health is infectious in such a wonderful way, is it not? people do stop and notice. And it's that, well, what are you doing?
They do. And I had an example. I belong to a book group. We don't have books now. We can't be bothered, but we've been going for about
I love that.
48 years we meet, right? And once a month when we can. And I had, it's always the first Friday of each month, and I had a few things on. So I hadn't gone the first month because that was my first month doing Metabolic Balance. And I thought, this is going to be a wee bit difficult. So, I didn't go the first month, so they haven't seen me for a few months. And when I walked in, one woman who's quite outspoken said, what if well, you've lost weight. Are you being very stressed? And I said, no. And everybody sort of stopped talking. And there's about 8 or 9 women there. And I said, oh, it's Metabolic Balance. I've been doing a metabolic. Oh, they wanted to know what it was. And Sue said, well, don't lose any more. I said, no, I won't. And I said, I'm the ideal weight now. And that was fine. And she said, oh, I've got some weight to lose. I've got about 20 kg to lose, but I don't know, I don't think I will. And that was fine. Book group finished. A week later, she texted me and she said, can you give me all the information on that program? She said, I really do need to shift this weight. And she was almost skeptical at our lunch, but she'd obviously had time in the week after that to think about it. And I will see her again in another few weeks, and I'll find out if she's done anything. But people do, I think they just see it in your face. I mean, okay, you've lost a bit of your chubbiness, but I just think they see the vitality in your face, in your eyes.
It does come from inside out. I mean, that's how the glow. And we're all, there is a lot of imbalance in this world, unfortunately, in our Western worlds with just, the poor quality foods. Even it's just the degree of inflammation that is, prevalent in the vast majority of people, unfortunately. And I think we have got almost so used to a slightly unhealthy look, as in all that we've got to do something on the outside to sort of try and fix it. But really, it's that inside out. The glow comes from inside out. And that's where I feel that, the real health shines through when you nourish your body metabolically personalized to you.
Exactly. And you don't realize it's happening. I mean, you start the program and you eat what you're supposed to eat. You have your 5 to 6 hours between, no snacking, drinking lots of water, but you don't really realize that all these things internally are happening.
Yeah, definitely.
They have. And your psyche, like I said before, I can't emphasize enough how it's been a mental shift as well.
Yeah. I mean, is there anything that you would say specifically to another 73-year-old woman or a woman in her 70s who maybe has, listening or thinking, I'm not sure I can do that or something, but knowing that the health is a similar place to you were, or worse, is there anything you would say specifically to her?
So I would, 3 words, just do it. Don't think about it. Honestly, that's exactly what what motivated me, those 3 words. I didn't think on it. I didn't research it beforehand. I didn't think on it. I just took those words on board and did it.
You had been working with Araleena, and so there was that strong degree of trust, obviously.
Yeah, but that was that wasn't anything to do with the diet. It was more women's issues. So it was completely unrelated to the 3 or 4 sessions I had with her. So I was very green. I knew nothing about the program. I know a lot about it now, and I'm a huge advocate because it's just been so easy.
And that's why you're here talking to me today.
I can't actually believe how easy it has been at 73 to drop 12 kg and drop a dress size. and be able to fit into a little black dress that I bought in 2001 in Santa Margherita in Italy. Impossible to get into it other times, right? So yeah, it's a great thing. Yeah.
Amazing. I'd love to see a photo of you in this little dress. Really amazing.
That would be possible, but you may not see a photo of me in a swimming costume.
Oh, we don't need that. I just think we're all like would we could put it in the video on the YouTube, and so people could. That would be amazing. I think because it's just the funness of it, isn't it? Especially, we should be able to have fun through every decade of life, and it have just enjoy the social and just feel good in ourselves, just as ourselves, no matter what. Yeah.
When you get into your 70s, you become a little bit invisible. Society begins to treat you. You're not totally invisible because that would be ridiculous, but you become a little bit invisible to everyone.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard this. I mean, I'm in my 50s myself, and I do think that a lot of women in their 50s will also say that they start to feel invisible too. And I think that can be that just not feeling is good, like good in yourself. Hopefully, I would say now you're not feeling invisible because you're feeling good.
And people wouldn't know that about me. They would see me as quite as a powerful sort of a person, but certainly my light was dimmed when I was heading into borderline obeseness. My light had dimmed. Well, now it's shining bright.
I just love that. That's so wonderful. Thank you so much, Gillian. It's been a pleasure to chat to you today, and thank you for sharing your story with us. I think it's such an important story. Again, that's what I love about talking to clients just like you is I hear new different ways, because you're absolutely right. When there aren't often people in their 70s and 80s, they are overlooked in terms of health and programs and actually proactively making a difference. It's almost like, oh no, just carry on, just take this extra medication and just sit in that waiting room, and just slow down, don't do that, don't do this.
Exactly. I was on omeprazole, a mild dose, but omeprazole. Don't need that anymore. Yep, stopped that in February, March. I was on a mild pravastatin, a statin. Don't need that anymore. Any health issues that I had have gone. I'm back to where I was in my, early 60s. I'd say a decade.
So you've got a really beautiful rosy. I'm excited to know what you're going to get up to in your now in your days.
Well, I'm excited myself.
Have you got any projects? What is there anything you can share with us?
Well, no, my husband and I are in the building industry, and that's always challenging. Buildings, challenging times, so that keeps me occupied. I haven't got any personal projects now, but I've got 7 grandchildren, and they're fun, and
How wonderful! So you'll be able to properly be a real part of their lives, for as they're growing up, and that's the exciting thing, isn't it? I mean, it is. It's his life. It's having a good life.
I think my mother died at 75, right? And I'm 74 at the end of this year. My father died at 90. Now, my mind before, well, I didn't intend to die at 75, right? That's a bit close. But I thought, 80, if I make it to 81, 82, I'll be right. No way, Jose. I am making it to 90.
Amazing. Ah, that's exactly what it's all about. I love it.
Thank you to Metabolic Balance, and thank you, Cherry, for bringing it to Australia and New Zealand, because without somebody like you to take on the risk and possibly a gamble at the time, women like me wouldn't have changed our lives around.
That's very sweet of you to say. Yeah, I love what I do, and I love the opportunity that that Metabolic Balance has given me to just. It's just wonderful, and I love hearing the real stories like yours. Thank you, Gillian, and it's been wonderful to talk to you. And please join us again for the next podcast when we will hear more wonderful stories. And you can also check out, I should also say, if you are interested in getting your own plan, which please do, check out the website and also the show notes. Will also point you in the right direction as well. And you can find your Metabolic Balance coach wherever you are in the world. So it is a worldwide program. Thank you, Gillian, and we'll catch up again soon.
Will do. Thanks. Bye, everyone.